In our headlines on this Tuesday, September 2nd, here in South Korea, President Kim Jong-un is scheduled to address the United Nations General Assembly in New York on Tuesday, September 23rd, and preside over a Security Council session. Meanwhile, North Korea's Kim Jong-un travels to Beijing in his signature armored green train to attend China's Victory Day parade that is scheduled to take place on Wednesday. And South Korea replaces all 7 of its 4-star generals who were in charge at the time of the former administration's short-lived martial law on December 3rd. We start with news of an upcoming diplomatic agenda for the president later this month. He's scheduled to address the United Nations General Assembly in New York and preside over a Security Council session. Our Yoon Jung-min reports from the presidential office.
President Lee Jae-myung will attend the UN General Assembly in New York on September 23rd to address its 80th session.
President Lee will share with the international community the Republic of Korea's experience of overcoming a crisis of democracy and recovering from it. He will also present our government's vision and policies on key global issues, including the Korean Peninsula.
He is expected to lay out his vision for peace on the peninsula and resuming dialogue with North Korea. This as the leaders of North Korea, China, and Russia gather in Beijing this week for a Chinese military parade. Just last week, the heads of South Korea and the U.S. met and shared their thoughts on resuming dialogue with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Eyes are also on whether there will be another Trump summit, just 4 weeks after their first meeting, with U.S. President Donald Trump also set to address the UN chamber on the same day. This comes ahead of the upcoming APEC leaders meeting in South Korea's Gyeongju this October, where Trump is also expected to attend. And the meeting means more than just that for the South Korean leader, as he resumes multilateral summit diplomacy, 3 months after making his debut at the G7 summit in Canada.
President Lee will strengthen solidarity with the international community and carry out various diplomatic activities to enhance Korea's status as a responsible global power.
South Korea has assumed the rotating presidency of the UN Security Council for the month of September, and Lee will preside over an open debate on September 24th on AI and related global peace. He will be the first South Korean president to lead such a session as chair. The presidential office says it hopes this will serve to reaffirm Korea's global standing as a trusted partner and bolster its leadership in multilateral summit diplomacy. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, earlier on this Tuesday, the president presided over a cabinet meeting on new growth strategies that was aired live. Our top office correspondent Song Yu-jin has the latest.
The second of President Lee Jae-myung's cabinet meeting discussions to be broadcast live centered on ways to boost South Korea's economic growth. President Lee opened Tuesday's session by highlighting encouraging figures from the domestic economy.
7월 산업 생산, 소비, 설비 투자가 나란히 증가세로 전환됐다고 합니다. 현장 민생과 직결된 소매 판매의 경우에는 소비 쿠폰 지급에 힘입어서 29개월 만에 가장 큰 폭으로 증가했습니다.
But he also sounded the alarm over the country's weakening potential growth rate, which is already in the upper 1% range and projected to dip to the low 1% range by the end of the decade.
적극 재정 그리고 생산적 금융을 양대 마중물로 삼아서 신기술 혁신 지원, 규제 개혁, 산업 재편, 인재 양성 등을 포괄하는 범정부 차원의 종합 대책을 신속하게 수립해서 추진해야 합니다.
That said, the floor was open to the ministers to weigh in on the challenges and possible solutions.
Our economy is under strain from a shrinking workforce, weak investment, and stagnant productivity, driving down growth potential. We've also fallen behind in AI and green transitions, while U.S. tariffs are reshaping global trade, leaving not only smaller firms, but even major corporations struggling.
The finance minister noted that a significant portion of next year's 728 trillion won budget will go toward artificial intelligence development.
We'll invest in AI infrastructure to help businesses and universities expand adoption more quickly. At the same time, well-trained top-tier talent develop a homegrown foundation model and establish AI innovation hubs in Gwangju and Daegu cities, and Jeollabuk-do and Gyeongsang-namdo provinces.
Another focus was adapting to the changing export environment shaped by the Trump administration's sweeping tariffs.
가능한 범위 내에서라면 수출 국가 다변화에 좀 주력을 좀 해야 될 것 같아요. 새로운 수출 국가 개발이나 수출 품목 개발을 좀 집중 지원하는 방식으로 차등을 두거나 아니면 아예 우선 지원하거나.
For example, the Korean wave has fueled strong demand in related sectors in the global south. We will work to reduce dependence on the U.S. market and enable our small and mid-sized firms to expand exports in these areas.
Tuesday's discussion reflected the president's commitment to prioritize stabilizing people's livelihoods and finding new growth engines following his back-to-back trips to the U.S. and Japan. 송유진, Arirang News.
Over in the U.S., the White House has shared 40 official photographs depicting candid moments from the first summit between President Lee Jae-myung and his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump at the Oval Office last Monday, that is August 25th. Our Lee Seung-jae takes a look.
The White House has unveiled a detailed look inside last month's summit between South Korean President Lee Jae-myung and U.S. President Donald Trump, releasing dozens of photos on the image-sharing site Flickr. With the meeting being held on August 25th at the White House, it presented a high-stakes meeting aimed at strengthening the alliance on security, trade, and technology. But most of the photos captured a cordial atmosphere throughout Lee's visit. Images include Trump welcoming President Lee at the West Wing entrance, their talks inside the Oval Office, and the two leaders shaking hands at the historic Resolute desk. Perhaps most symbolic was Lee's handwritten message in the guest book. He wrote, "In the golden era of the South Korea-U.S. alliance, a strong and great future starts anew." The signing of the guest book was also followed by Trump's fascination for the pen brought by Lee, specifically for the summit.
Is that your pen?
저기 펜이 직접 그 대통령
가지고
Yes,
that's my pen. That's a nice pen.
Additional images show Trump and Lee watching television coverage of their meeting together, as well as Lee smiling alongside Vice President J.D. Vance and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. On the South Korean side, the delegation included Foreign Minister Cho Hyun, National Security Advisor Wi Sung-rak, and Industry Minister Kim Jong-un, all seen in photos accompanying the president during key moments. Observers noted the summit went forward smoothly, despite Trump posting a critical social media message about the Lee administration just before the meeting. The newly released photos, however, emphasized the cooperative tone and symbolism that both sides sought to highlight. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
North Korea's Kim Jong-un is expected to have arrived in Beijing to attend China's Victory Day parade scheduled to take place tomorrow, that is Wednesday. For more on this, I have my colleague Kim Do-yeon live on the line. Do-yeon, welcome. So what's the latest?
Sunny, while Kim Jong-un's arrival hasn't been confirmed, it's been expected that he should be in Beijing by now. As he left on a train on Monday, the visit is drawing significant international attention as it marks his first ever attendance at a multilateral event. He is known to be accompanied by high-ranking officials, including Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee. There is also speculation that his wife Lee Seol-ju or his daughter Kim Ju-ae may be part of the delegation. Meanwhile, South Korea's National Intelligence Service held a closed-door briefing at the National Assembly today. Here is what one lawmaker told reporters.
He is expected to receive special treatment, including protocol and security on par with that of Putin. The NIS projects that he will stand alongside Xi Jinping and Putin on the Tiananmen Gate rostrum during the September 3rd military parade. The NIS also anticipates a North Korea-China summit and a meeting between the leaders of North Korea and Russia.
Kim's official engagements are scheduled to begin this evening ahead of the military parade on Wednesday morning. A key point of focus is whether a trilateral meeting will occur between Kim, China's Xi Jinping, and Russia's Vladimir Putin. However, the NIS assesses that an immediate three-way practical cooperation is not likely due to international scrutiny. According to the agency, Kim's objectives include strengthening economic support from China and advancing security cooperation with Russia. The NIS also suggested the North Korea leader may seek Beijing support in arranging another summit with U.S. President Donald Trump. His journey to Beijing, covering some 1,300 kilometers, reportedly took more than 20 hours due to the chain's heavy armor and the state of North Korea's rail infrastructure.
Right. Toon, beyond the parade then, what else is expected to be on Kim Jong-un's agenda while in China?
Right. He is scheduled to attend a cultural event on Wednesday evening, along with approximately 20 other world leaders and representatives. This is Kim Jong-un's first visit to the Chinese capital in over 6 years. During his last trip, he toured science and technology centers, but given North Korea's current economic difficulties, analysts expect this visit may have a stronger economic focus. For now, Chinese state media coverage of Kim's arrival has been minimal. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Sunny.
All right, Toyon, thank you for that coverage. Now, ahead of his departure for China, Kim Jong-un reportedly made his way to a missile research institute to be briefed on a new intercontinental ballistic missile. Our defense correspondent Kim Bo-kyung explains.
Ahead of his journey to Beijing to attend the Victory Day military parade, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited an intercontinental ballistic missile research institute. There, he reviewed the production of a new high-powered solid-fuel engine for ICBMs that he said would be used not only for the Hwasong-19, but also the next-generation Hwasong-20 ICBMs. This marks the first disclosure of the latest missile under development since the regime test-fired a Hwasong-19 ICBM last year, October. What's notable is that the new solid-fuel engine has a maximum thrust of 1,960 kilonewtons, roughly 200 tons of force. One expert says the reason behind regime increasing the thrust of the engine is to develop a much stronger ICBM.
The Hwasong 18 and 19 used a 140-ton thrust engine. Now that's been upgraded to 200 tons. With more thrust, the missile can carry heavier and more powerful warheads, or even multiple warheads to hit several targets at once.
Kim highlighted the new solid-fuel engine uses carbon fiber composite material. When solid fuel burns, it releases exhaust gases that give thrust to the engine. The nozzle where the gas comes out needs to withstand a lot of heat, and this is where the carbon fiber composite material is used.
Carbon composites are the best materials humans have made for withstanding high temperatures. North Korea probably got the basic materials from Russia and used those to develop their own advanced composites. This allowed them to create powerful rocket engines that they seem to be getting ready to use.
Kim showcasing plans for a new ICBM ahead of a trip to China where he will stand side by side with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin shows the regime's will to go against the U.S. with its developed missile production systems. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, National Assembly Speaker Woo Won-shik will represent South Korea at China's Victory Day parade on Wednesday. And while his planned attendance has sparked speculation about a possible encounter with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, intelligence authorities here have reportedly ruled out any such prospect. Woo nonetheless will meet with senior officials from China's National People's Congress and State Council before returning home on Friday. The current Lee administration has replaced all 7 of South Korea's 4-star generals who were in charge at the time of the former Yoon administration's short-lived martial law on December 3rd. Our Choi Soo-young has details.
The government has announced a major reshuffle in South Korea's military, replacing all 7 of its 4-star generals. Kim Jong-un, currently head of the Strategic Command, has been nominated for the top post of chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Defense Ministry said Kim has held key positions in the Air Force and is considered the best fit as an expert in joint operations and force development. Kim will go through a confirmation hearing before his appointment is finalized, and if approved, it would mark the 2nd time in a row for the position to be held by someone outside the army. Kim Gyu-ha, now head of the Missile Strategy Command and described by the government as an expert in defense strategy and joint firepower, has been named the Army Chief of Staff. Kang Dong-gil, a specialist in maritime operations and currently head of the Joint Chiefs Directorate of Military Support, will lead the Navy. In the Air Force, Son Seok-lak, recognized for his expertise in air operations and overseas education and training for the armed services, will serve as Chief of Staff. Other key appointments include Kim Sung-min as Deputy Commander, ROK U.S. Combined Forces Command, Chu Sung-un as Commanding General, Ground Operations Command, and Kim Ho-bok as Commanding General, Second Operations Command. With this, all 7 4-star generals who were part of the military leadership at the time martial law was declared last December have now stepped down. The Defense Ministry said the full replacement is aimed at bringing fresh leadership and quickly stabilizing the armed forces. Apart from Kim Jong-un, the other 6 were appointed by President Lee Jae-myung after a cabinet meeting on Tuesday. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
In other news, a reality show on a streaming platform is sharing music collaborations between iconic artists of the 80s and 90s like Kylie Minogue, teaming up with K-pop idols to reimagine their greatest hits. Our features reporter An Sung-jin has more.
You've K-popped it.
What would it be like if the Spice Girls and Boyz II Men were K-pop groups? That's what a new reality show aims to find out. The show Kpopped was released last Friday, made by executive producers Lionel Richie and Megan Thee Stallion, and co-produced by CJENM. K-pop artists including ITZY, ATEEZ, Kiss of Life, and STAYC are paired up with global music legends like Kylie Minogue and Kesha to recreate some of their most iconic songs. 8 episodes have been released on Apple TV+, and every episode highlights the cover performance together and the precise K-pop style choreography, alluding to the title, Kpopped. Not only were popular songs like Savage, Say You'll Be There, Can't Get You Out of My Head performed with a K-pop twist to it, but the artists also tried wearing hanbok, tasted Korean food, and visited local spots. One expert says the show could give viewers a deeper understanding of the unique aspects of K-pop.
K-pop has a strong fandom, so not only does it have a persistent demand, but now they are trying out more new things.
According to Flix Patrol, which ranks TV shows and movies on the mainstreaming platforms, Kpopped ranked 4th for its global popularity and topped the chart in Korea. Following the craze for K-pop demon hunters, maybe Kpopped could be the next piece of K-pop content to make waves on streaming platforms. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Up next, we share with you the 2nd installment in our series of stories on South Korea's development assistance initiatives in Uzbekistan. And today we touch upon the role of vocational training centers set up by the Korea International Cooperation Agency in the Central Asian nation. Our correspondent Oh Soo-young reports from the ground.
Makhmudov Mansur was a disillusioned dental trainee turned taxi driver, earning $100 a month. In his late 20s, he enrolled in a vocational program run by South Korea's Foreign Aid Agency. For the last 8 years, Mansur's been running a publishing and IT firm, earning $800 to $1,000 a week.
I came with no background in it and worked as a taxi driver. What I learned at the center enabled me to run a 40-person business. Based on 8 months of study and 2 months of internships, 2 of my classmates and I founded a company. With our new factory, I expect to hire 120 more workers and hope to continue creating quality jobs.
One of 5 vocational schools set up in Uzbekistan by Korea International Cooperation Agency, the Samarkand Vocational Training Center nurtures young professionals in mechanics, electrical engineering, IT, computer graphics, and more. After completing a year in Samarkand, plus 2 years at a South Korean university, Graduates go into business or land high-quality jobs with their acquired skill sets and Korean language skills.
I'm currently learning the basics of machinery. If I continue my studies in Korea, I hope to receive more advanced training there and eventually secure a good job.
Inspired by Korean online lecturers, this 30-year-old student aspires to become a mechanics professor.
Many of us had never seen such machines before, but Koreans brought these over and showed us. We were blown away. With this training, we can earn more than in jobs like driving buses or taxis, construction, or teaching.
With a population of 35 million, 6 in 10 Uzbeks are under 30 years old, meaning there's a huge demand for work. Around 500,000 enter the job market each year. KOICA's vocational centres have together produced 11,000 graduates, with a 92% employment rate.
When the Tashkent and Samarkand centers first opened, no other institution could provide even short-term vocational training. By showing what our center can do, we've set a shining example. So today, the Uzbek government now operates 65 vocational schools nationwide, on top of the 5 KOICA vocational centers.
Beyond technology and skill training, it's crucial for young firms to acquire the know-how and connections to scale their businesses.
Here in Tashkent, KOICA is backing the growth of young Uzbek IT specialists and companies, training professionals and linking businesses together to create a high-tech ecosystem.
Since 2021, KOICA provided funding, training and hardware support for IT Park, a tech hub set up by the Uzbek government in 2019 to foster digital export businesses and attract global IT firms to Uzbekistan. IT Park offers business-to-business matchmaking, education in areas like artificial intelligence and data analytics, as well as further networking opportunities for resident companies.
We could learn about new trends and also network with Korean companies, so I'm recommending this program to others in the industry.
The capacity building program has trained over 630 students to date. Once the center of global commerce as a major Silk Road hub, Uzbekistan is working with South Korea to produce young technicians sporting new tricks of trade. Young Arirang News, Tashkent.
With strong and heavy rain falling, heavy rain warnings were issued for the eastern part of Jeju Island and heavy rain advisories in the mountainous areas of Jeju Island today. Tomorrow there will be showers in Chungcheongnam-do province and the southern parts of the country between morning and evening. And on Thursday there will be rain in the central part and showers in the southern parts of the country. Heatwave warnings are still in place in the south and Jeju Island. In these areas, it feels as hot as 33 degrees Celsius. As the heat continues for the time being, there will be frequent showers as well. Tomorrow morning, Seoul, Daegu, and Gyeongju will start off at 23 degrees and Busan at 25 degrees. Highs will top out at around 30 to 32 degrees, very similar to today. This summer heat will ease off a bit on this weekend. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
Those are the headlines at this hour here in South Korea. Coming up next is our daily panel session, so do stay with us. Thank you for now.